What if I told you that the real reason you feel so exhausted and overwhelmed isn't your job or your schedule, but a chemical firestorm that's happening inside your body right now? You see, the problem isn't the stress itself, it's the stress hormone that's running totally out of control. So let's get into it.
Does this sound at all familiar? You are dragging yourself through the day, just completely wiped out. But the second your head hits the pillow, bam, your mind is wide awake and racing. Or maybe you've just got this constant, low-level anxiety that follows you around everywhere. You find yourself snapping at the people you love for no good reason. Look, this is not a character flaw. It's a biological signal.
And that signal is telling you something really important. The real problem here isn't what's happening out there. It is a full-blown biological emergency happening in here. And the craziest part is, most of us are living with it every single day and have absolutely no idea. We're talking about one specific hormone that's just gone haywire in your system.
And that hormone? It's cortisol. Now, you don't feel high cortisol the same way you'd feel a headache. Oh no, it's much sneakier than that. You feel it as that annoying brain fog, or as that stubborn belly fat that just will not go away no matter what you do. It's that feeling of never ever being able to truly rest. And make no mistake, over time, this stuff is doing real physical damage.
And this isn't just a you and me problem. I mean, look at this number, 83%. That's how many American workers say they feel chronically stressed out. We're not talking about a bad day here and there. This is the new normal. It's a persistent, daily reality for almost everyone.
So, why? Why is this happening? Well, our bodies are basically running on ancient software. Think about it. This whole cortisol system was designed for short, intense threats, like a saber-toothed tiger jumping out of the bushes. The tiger appears, you freak out, you run away, the threat is over, and the cortisol washes right out of your system. Simple. But here's the kicker. Your brain cannot tell the difference between that tiger and an angry email from your boss. The problem is, the email doesn't just go away. That pressure just sticks around, right? So the cortisol never gets the signal to clear out. It just builds and builds and builds.
And this is where it gets really, really serious. This isn't just a feeling in your head. Research like this from biological psychiatry confirms that sustained high cortisol actually reduces the volume of your hippocampus. That's the part of your brain for memory, for learning, for keeping your emotions in check. Let me just say that again. Stress is literally shrinking parts of your brain. It makes it physically harder to think your way out of the problem. It is a vicious biological trap. But the good news? We have found the escape hatch. All right, let's talk about that escape hatch. Our first tool is the physiological sigh. And honestly, this is the single fastest way to hit the biological reset button that you have access to. In fact, you've probably done it before without even knowing it. You know, that deep breath you take after a really good cry? That's it. It's your body's built-in emergency brake.
The science behind this is so cool. Okay, so when you get stressed, these tiny little air sacs in your lungs, they're called alveoli, they start to collapse, kind of like little balloons deflating. When that happens, you can't get rid of carbon dioxide efficiently. So CO2 builds up in your blood, and guess what? A high level of CO2 signals to your brain. Panic. It is a major trigger for anxiety. So your body isn't broken when you feel that panic. It's just responding to a very real chemical signal. And the physiological sigh, it reverses this entire process in seconds. So here's exactly how you do it. It's super simple. You take a deep inhale through your nose, and then right at the very top, before you exhale, you sneak in one more little sniff. That second sniff is the key. It pops open all those collapsed air sacs. Then, a long, slow exhale through your mouth. That's what tells your nervous system, hey, we're safe now. You only need to do it twice. The whole thing takes, 30 seconds? And get this, researchers at Stanford found this was the single most effective technique for immediately lowering stress. Pretty incredible, right?
All right, on to habit number 2, the cold water reflex. This one taps into a seriously powerful ancient reflex that's been programmed into you for millions of years, and all you need to activate it is a sink.
It's called the mammalian dive reflex. Check this out. When cold water hits the skin right around your eyes and the bridge of your nose, your brain gets a signal that says, whoa, we're going underwater. And the response is instantaneous and totally automatic. Your heart rate immediately slows down, your rest and digest system kicks into high gear, and your cortisol levels just plummet. It's like flipping a biological switch on your stress.
Now, the real secret weapon here is when you do this. Your cortisol levels naturally spike about 30 minutes after you wake up. It's called the cortisol awakening response. But if you're already chronically stressed, that morning spike is like pouring gasoline on a fire.
So by using this trick first thing in the morning, you're not just putting out fires later in the day, you're proactively lowering your entire stress baseline for the whole day ahead.
And the how-to on this could not be easier. First thing when you get up, before you check your phone, before you make coffee, anything, just walk over to the sink, splash cold water on your face 10 times, and really focus on that key target zone, under your eyes and across the bridge of your nose. That's it. It takes maybe a minute, and it literally changes your body chemistry for the rest of the day. Okay, our third and final habit is the stress shake. And I know this one might sound a little weird at first, but stick with me because the biology here is absolutely fascinating. Just think for a second. What does an animal do, like a deer or a dog, right after it has a close call with danger?
Right? It shakes, it trembles, and it shakes all over. And then it just goes back to grazing. It's done. The stress cycle is complete. But us, we humans, do the exact opposite. We get that same flood of cortisol and adrenaline, and what do? We sit perfectly still at our desks, clenching our jaw, trying to look professional. We completely suppress that physical release. And the result is that all those stress hormones get trapped, literally stored in our muscles and nervous system, just piling up over time.
So it's really important to understand this. This is not exercise. We're not talking about a workout. This is a neurological discharge. You're basically giving your nervous system permission to finally finish the job that the stress response started. You're letting all that pent-up cortisol and adrenaline physically leave your body the way nature intended, releasing all that tension you've been holding on to.
So here's how you do it. Just stand with your feet about shoulder-width apart and bend your knees just a little bit. And then, you just let your legs start to tremble. If nothing happens naturally, you can kickstart it by just gently bouncing on your heels. Let that little shake travel up through your whole body. You only need to do it for 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah, it might feel a little silly the first time you try it, but trust me, your nervous system is going to be so relieved.
So there you have it, a brand new toolkit for dealing with stress on a biological level. You've got the physiological sigh, which changes your blood chemistry in literally seconds. You've got the cold water reflex to tap into that deep, ancient calming response. And you've got the stress shake to finally let your nervous system complete the cycle and release everything.
Just take a second and imagine what this actually feels like. Imagine lying down at night and your mind just goes quiet. Not because you're forcing it to with some app, but because your cortisol levels are actually genuinely lower. Imagine having a really tough day, but instead of carrying all that tension home with you, you actually feel it leave your body. This isn't some fantasy. This is what it feels like to have a regulated nervous system.
Your nervous system isn't broken. It's just been stuck running an emergency program for way too long. And all this time, it's just been waiting for the right signal from you to finally stand down. So the only question now is, which one of these signals are you going to send it first?